Yeah, I'm totally not cutting it close on time. What a ridiculous notion. Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we started to, well, we got betrayed and stabbed a lot. And this time, the fabled knight. Oh boy, this fucking mission. There were more sea terrors than we expected near the lighthouse, but thanks to Irene's lamp, the light of which paralyzed the nervous systems, paired with the rather narrow passageways, we were able to handle them without much trouble. Also, as the control room was, unlike the exterior wall, mostly undamaged. Faust shared the good news that the repairs most likely won't take very long. Isan was right. Fortunately, the inside is barely damaged. How are you progressing, Miss Faust? It is almost complete. You best prepare to leave. No, we need to... let's... A tremor shakes the building with a loud boom and debris begins falling from the ceiling. The lighthouse's precarious floor suddenly collapses from the shock. The floor is giving way! What's going on out there? Something rammed against the eye of Iberia. I see yacht shattering through the ocean surface, the sheer explosive force turning water into mist. And it's charging at us once again. As Isang noticed, he saw the shadow of a dark figure through the ruptured outer wall of the lighthouse, charging ferociously at the ruined structure. The figure looked a lot like one of those knights of the city's western region Don Quixote would talk at length about. The lighthouse might crumble at this rate. We have no choice. We have to stop whatever's out there. Faust, stay here. The rest of us will descend the lighthouse and... Lighthouse is almost fully functional. It'll take some finishing touches to have the light shine again. Jack and I'll stay behind. It's entirely unnecessary to leave the rest to you. We'll try to leave with Faust, who is an expert. I've heard about that sea barn before. The fables and legends say that he's the last knight, and those stories have any grand truth in him. You're gonna need all hands on deck to even have a chance at stalling it. You better prepare for a few days of interrogations once I bring you to the Inquisition. Your decision, Executive Manager. All hands on deck. Leave the lighthouse to Maris, but we have to put a stop to that night somehow. Waves crest high and violent behind the spear-wielding knight. We have to protect the already precarious lighthouse against the night. The knight begins to charge at us, his steed splitting the very sea. And I instinctively know that this isn't going to be easy. No, it fucking isn't. As mentioned, this is the last night. One day, wheat grains he planted did not sprout. One day, he stopped feeling the scent of life between his breaths. Thus, he rides against the currents, hunting after waves. He seeks waves, approaches them, and eventually brings about their destruction. Faint memories, having blinked through Amlia's fathoms, flashed briefly before my eyes, and the seaborne knight wields his great lance against surface sea terrors. He shudders though with repulsiveness, but he does not stop. You obstruct progress and cover the lands. That is impermissible. This is the land. The knight and sea terrors don't necessarily seem to be on the same side. Perhaps diplomacy may be a viable solution here. We might as well fucking try to talk to him. Okay. Honolulu guarantees wins that. We are not the sea. We are not its waves. The knight's great lance falters with doubt. Waves are the only thing that hold any meaning for him. 3 offense level down, that actually might fucking matter. The last knight is an Arcanite named Don Quixote. Lovely. So, it's only for 1 turn though, which is not great. When hit, gain 1 cold against the attacker. This makes this fight incredibly difficult. Basically, the way that you want to try to do this fight, ideally, is more or less alternating turns of attack and defense. Problem is, if you have a counter, you can't really do much about that. He gains a lot of protection. He heals back, and we have to take him out twice, and he has a lot of protection at combat start, so, like... But we can get him to low sanity. I actually didn't realize that he had sanity, but it's a bit too late for that now. His attacks themselves, for now, aren't the most difficult. That will change, though. Now we have Morositas. Not Morositas, fucking Superbia. That's just the next one. And I want to do that, but I don't know what I want to start with. Tears of Tarnished Blood is probably a little bit too early for that. To remain oneself might not be bad. That's only when we have a bunch of sinking, and we don't really have much sinking in foot. Well, we'll inflict sinking with Roja at the very least. Unbrilliant Glory could be useful right now, but it's a pretty cheap one. I do want to start off on the right foot, so... Name of Love and Hate could be useful. Maybe we'll just not start with it right now. That's tragic. Favored. Only favored on that. What does he get for sanity? Increases. So this is very much a win the clash, do good, lose the clash, do bad. I'm not the biggest fan of favored as our highest on that. But I think I really don't have much choice. Actually, it's fucking unopposed. Why is it unopposed? Doesn't trigger defensive skills, that's why. Although, I believe Faust's skill 3 will end up triggering it. So... yeah. Okay. I am very worried about this. I will say, Lord Hong Lu is actually a very bad unit for this fight, because he causes so many extra attacks. And cold hurts because, yeah, we have 2 cold on Hong Lu right now. And then, of course, he has his counter right after this, which is just going to be lovely. I believe that later on, the last knight has some skills that will inflict cold as well. But I could be wrong about that. And again, with counters, we kind of can't avoid cold. Which sucks, especially clashable counters. Yeah, this is really where things start getting especially painful. Getting up to 2 clash power, getting up to 2 final power. Yeah, and sever 2 enemies. This one can gain extra attack weight, and it's an unbreakable. This one has base. Already gains more. It gains more attack weight if it is against a frozen enemy, which is what happens when you reach 3 cold. You get frozen, take damage, and you are staggered for a turn. Fucking everyone has. Okay, actually, Dawn doesn't. Really? That's fucking brutal. Really should have seen what all those do right away. Faust will get frozen next turn, no matter what. So I think I definitely want to take out Tide Hunt. The question is with what? Like, I definitely need to beat that. Could this be Command Meltdown's time? So what is... When do you gain that? Is it only when using the ego? It seems like it. Turns to star, gain stack. Yeah. So it looks like it's only after using Command Meltdown, which isn't the best. To remain oneself, that rolls a 20. What does that roll? That rolls up to a 15. Could do to remain oneself. Start building that up. We're gonna go for it. I will be honest, I do not expect to win this fight. This is an incredibly difficult fight. Hit without cracking, flick 3 sinking. We'll do that there. It's unopposed. Fuck, keep getting space power. Ooh, actually. Ooh, that's true. Grab there. I really need to bash everything over the head. So yeah, we power counter that. Still have attack going through there. Alright, everything's favored. So we really got as much as we can. Alright. And Faust is gonna get frozen this next turn. So we lose our sanity a little bit. Fuck. God damn it. Oh, never mind. That's fine. Yep, Delhan. Better results than I expected. Okay. Well, we aren't gonna get staggered from this. Not that much damage. That's perfectly cromulent. The Sinner's relentless assault upon the night begins to slow. Though we don't have anything in common with night, cold, cold loneliness rides his bellow, insidious under the faint light. We raves, or rocks in his eyes. Sea wets our hymns, giving us no time to answer the question. I'm gonna double check what these do, because again, this fight's fucking difficult. I had so much problems with this on my main account that has like almost everything unlocked, so... give me a moment to figure out exactly which of these, what do. This is when someone is frozen. Okay. Someone is stand their ground next to the petrified sinners. And this one, we just need to win. Sinner Hong Lu's warmth reignites the fire of determination in the rest of the sinners. In that moment, Irene raises her lamp, showering the night with its light. Every year's flame illuminates our path. Unlike the night, we're not alone, so we do not have to endure the chilling loneliness by ourselves. We were frozen from all allies. I believe this only happens once. Anytime after this, fuck, we're fucked. Quite frankly. Let's see, so we got Dullhan. No frozen on you, though. Dawn, we need to have use her defense right now. Yeah. When we're on Doahan... No, okay. Yeah, we only gain... Ah, goddamn, this would be really nice to have Lament Mourn Despair going on. That would be lovely. That doesn't feel right. He is at negative 45, never mind. Negative 45 sanity is pretty good for us. Merceau, I think, will just have to get frozen. Yeah, Merceau just kind of has to get frozen. No, that's too much damage. It's too much damage on him. Oh, I could... Well, if we do that, then Unbrilliant Glory, get the cold off of Dawn and Gregor. Merceau just kind of has to take the freeze. Really nothing we can do about that. Really? I guess you're slightly negative. Tide Hunt. 12 damage, okay. Yeah, by this point, they kind of realize that if they want to do unclashable AoEs to have the reduced damage and prevent stagger, because that was a big problem. I think that was a pretty big problem that a lot of people had in the Papa Don fight. Don Quixote of La Mancha Land, Papa Don, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, so let's start getting that running. Roja will get frozen this upcoming turn. Unless I just do that, which I think I will. Now this is very big for us. Yeah, the Lament Mourn Despair is fucking huge to have right now at negative 38 sanity. I would really... Let me double check exactly how backup units, select one ally. I'm pretty sure that okay, it doesn't look like... I could have sworn that there was a... I might be... Yeah, I could have sworn there was a, like, whatever ones that don't have a... that aren't using guard. Look, is it all allies or is it just Haisho? It is just Haisho. So we'll do that. We'll swap Ishmael in. It's gonna get a lot of protection. What's the power counter at? That's not bad. Favored right away with the Arcana Beats. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. Get the sanity down. Oh, that's a lot less damage than I was hoping for. Luckily, Lament Mourn Despair should probably do enough. That's... Oh, fuck off. Really? Okay, well... Come on. Oh, we're so close to the stagger. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a rare situation where not having enough ego is actually good for us, because if we got popped by corroded ego right now, we would be so fucked. Yeah, I think it is only non-guarding units. I'm pretty sure, at least. It just doesn't mention it. Yeah, and like, I'm pretty sure that it's something along those lines. But that does help out our cold situation. Heathcliff will be fine. He doesn't have to do anything. Greg, we're going to have counter. We will have Faust counter as well. Get rid of our cold so that we can fully take advantage of the stagger that should happen next turn. Don, same situation. Do that, and do that. Be very careful with that. The final move there. Yep, okay. Get the stagger. Very nice. I guess that is a good thing about him. I'm pretty sure that the Clashable Guard is always there. Which I guess is your way to have counters be fine. So yeah, at this point, let's just drop everything in. I should be able to use some more ego pretty soon. Does he have any protection right now? He's not. But do we even do enough damage for... No, we don't even get the... Oh, fucking on 11. I don't know if turn ends right away. Because that could be an issue. Oh, I know why the retreat didn't happen. Because he actually has to use the skill, I'm pretty sure. It's... fucking, Hydraul Key Claw has some weird properties to it. And I don't know if this has... I really don't want to get up to the third sword. Yeah, I don't know if the turn ends. It does, okay. Okay. Starts off right away using Slay the Ocean. Slay the Ocean. That's extra damage against enemies with cold. Faust still does get frozen. The music's an absolute banger, by the way. Yeah, it can do a lot of damage. Luckily, we don't have, like, any cold right now. But... Oh, it's fucking unclashable. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Is it end turn? Doesn't look like it ends turn. on being finished. No, it just does a lot of damage. So really the only one that helps would be Dawn. Everyone else should just be able to zoop. Okay. That was a lot less than I was expecting, actually. Oh, wait. Hold up. I think we gained double cold now. Yeah. Yeah, so now it really is every other turn. Attack and defend. Or just kind of suffer some people having frozen. The knight rides upon the violently whinnying steed. Lance raised skyward. The knight races across the sea, splitting its waves. You won't succeed at this rate. Stall him, please, even for a second. Irene directs her hand cannon toward the knight. Her aim and will undulates on the same frequency with the waves. We need a moment to recover. Top of the waves. Go for his legs, down his lance. Let me just check. Okay. We have to stop the knight's charge. Put a stop to the charge. God bless you, answer me, High Show Pax. The knight's fierce charge briefly wavers when Senator Hong Lu jumps in his path. The Inquisitor quickly capitalizes on this momentary opening. A blinding spark flies from her hand cannon, and the knight is thrown off his steed. Slay the Ocean becomes clashable. Dense shadow pools under the lone knight. Susurrus of teeming flesh sledding against the flesh can be heard underneath. Art they gathered to defeat the knight? They must first gather there, believing him to be one of them, until they came to a realization that the knight was a traitor to the greater will. The knight leaps from the surface, but the sea rises violently in response to drag him back down. The waves crest high, gnawing upon the knight, crashing him back down to the water's surface. But he leaps once again, the cresting waves as stepping stones. He belongs not to the sea. He stands tall against the great will, his head held high in eternal defiance. The intermittent knight rides across the watery mountains and charges at us. We just have to hit a single one. Thank you. Sin Erosion brings the knight's charge to a stop, and the waves begin to crash in. Once, twice, thrice, but unlike the knights in the back streets, the waves don't stop coming. He has always challenged the waves, and is fated to do so for eternity. The waves will always shake the sea until the day of the knight's sinking. Struggle passive deactivated, and he gains the knight's corpus. Knight's corpus takes extra damage. Struggle passive means that he will no longer gain the protection. What is the... What is the extra cold from, exactly? Okay, yeah, here we go. So it just changes that. So it adds Overlook of All Life in, as well as Roar of the Rogue Waves. This, again, the fight up to this point is still difficult, don't get me wrong. This is when the fight really starts ramping up to be, what the fuck tier. Alright. Dawn should be fine. I can hit with that. Faust is good to go as well. Heathcliff is good. Honglu is not. Merceau is not. Roja is not. Gregor is not. So one Tide Piercer Lance will go through. But I think I kind of just will be fine with that. little bit of damage. Ooh, health. Yummy. And Heathcliff got pretty unlucky there. Luckily, In the Name of Love and Hate will go through. We'll get another skill 3, which is incredible for us. This is definitely going a lot better than my my main account run, but I think it's because I actually like properly know the fight at this point. Obviously, learning on the fly is a little bit more difficult. Kind of, obviously there's the meme that Limbus players can't read, or just Project Moon fans can't read, and I feel like that's kind of true in this situation, but I feel like this is mostly a case of trial by fire is kind of the best way to learn in this game. Yeah, Tide Piercer Lancers kind of has to go through. So at this point, it's just Dawn and Faust. I can't use Anatomia High Show packs because that will trigger Faust to attack. And I don't have the resources to pop the Unbrilliant Glory. What do we need? A Pride? One Pride, one Sloth. That'll be perfectly fine. Then I'll have to wait another turn, but whatever. Yeah, that'll just be fine. Yeah, I do feel like this, like, a lot of Limbus does kind of feel like trial by fire. Or at least that's how I learn it better, learn it best, whatever you want to word it as. Like, once you experience the fight is the point where, like, okay, now I get what's happening. And I know how to fight with it. Also, just remembering that counters can go up against the guard to not proc most of the time. Not just some exceptions. Clashable counters especially are a little bit iffy with that. But still. Yeah, I really don't want to use any, like, I don't want any of our people to get frozen. It does mean that we'll have some pretty rough turns. Especially now that we're down to 2 people at once, or on one turn. He is very low on sanity right now. And they're both clashable, which is gonna suck. Let's pop another command meltdown, I suppose. Like, I do get a lot of people having, like, here's the thing. The last night really sucks that it's such limited, that it's, limited time content. Because this is it's very difficult, but it doesn't necessarily feel unfair difficult. I mean, like, it's a case where I can tell right now that because I'm playing so hard into the gimmick of the fight, that it's a significantly different fight. Yeah, okay, so Merceau's gonna get frozen next turn, which sucks. And Greg is gonna get frozen next turn, which sucks. And we get Dullahan. I'm gonna wait a turn for Lament More Despair. Well, I don't think we can probably take him out this turn. That's the thing. I think we can take him out this turn. 146, he has no protection right now. Yeah, no, we're fine. We got him dead. Burn will take him out at end turn anyways. Whew! Yeah, that's a fun fight. Now that, again, trial by fire, I know how to play into it. I'm out of rounds. The lamp's almost out too. I'll leave him back for now, but it won't last much longer. No BS, I can last. The lighthouse not so much. What difference does that make? Sinners were reeling from the battle against this enemy, who was more like a force of nature than a human. Without giving us much time to breathe, the knight fixes the spear and begins charging at us again. It didn't take very long for the severity of the situation to dawn as I quickly began to rack my head with a desperate wish. What can I do? What can I do here? As I went through the mist, the black space begins to envelop my vision once again. This is just like... And from the dark, light shines again. I reach out toward it and see, unlike any other phenomenon, which focused entirely and powerfully on Scotty, a single individual, what I saw this time was an unfamiliar place called Casimir's. This place was filled to the brim with things that Don Quixote would lose her mind over, like knights and their countless fans, an arena in which to test one's mettle. But the one in Ami's thoughts sits far from all that glory, in a very mundane-looking office. He wears a well-kept set of clothing, while his eyes are, with a slight squint, focused on reading a newspaper. The man looked more like an office worker than a knight, but the most radiant part of that scene was the banner hanging on the wall like a sword. Don Quixote was the first sinner who came to mind. Can she, our ardent admirer of knights and pursuer of glory, spin that energy from his sword as her own? No, he's different. I need someone who doesn't pursue glory. Someone who can handle their own tarnished glory. A sinner who can detachedly wield the entirety of their bygone honor is... Yeah, you're just one. Trust you, Gregor. He's eager to hew into the knight's charge. Split the waves. You just like to split the waves, huh? Here, manage, bud. Let's do this. The incandescent golden blades of light surge forth, cleaving through the darkness of the sea. The knight withstands and parries each of those lights away. But he comes to a stop. The last of the golden radiance cuts across the sea and looks in our direction as if to admire it. And finally, the lighthouse makes a low, resonant creaking noise before firing a bright light toward the ocean horizon. Maris has completed the repairs. Oh, the light returned to this house once more! Silence all! Maris is saying something. Like Otis said, Maris was peeking at the window and shouting something at us. Besselmas is still near the shore, somewhere on the coast of sea. It's moored somewhere by the beach, somewhere quiet, bit of a distance away from the village coast. Confirmed. I'll reveal Dr. Calcit immediately. All and good, but what about that monster? Yeah, what if it charges at the lighthouse again and destroys it? Or it talked during a battle, but I don't think the creature is capable of actually communicating with them. It's be a problem. Don Quixote, wait! Don't get too close to it, it's dangerous! Before we could stop her, Don Quixote had already approached as close as she could to the seaboard, her eyes twinkling. She takes a brief moment to admire the knight and the steed before asking him in an energetic tone. Oh, mighty knight! What is the name of thy noble steed? Roshi. Nonde. She can communicate with him? 'Tis quite a coincidence then! My noble steed is also named Rocinante! One who is not a comrade. They are a steed, you say. Forsooth, a steed most fine indeed. It hath served me well in countless adventures of mine, despite its appearance. Yet I must inquire thee, noble knight, wherefore dost thou strike this lighthouse so? Ishlama. It's not the waves. The waves are darker, more raucous. Perchance there was a tad inconvenient misunderstanding here then. Good night to I and my compatriots, who are now embarking upon an adventure most important, yet with thy obstruction we are unable to do so. Prithee, wilt thou return to whence thou came? Don Quixote regarded the knight with a stance that was at once courteous and brave. And the knight and his steed Rocinante stared wordlessly back at Don Quixote. I wasn't sure if she managed to get through to the knight or if the knight just lost interest, but they both departed the lighthouse, looking out to the far distance. So they really exist? Sea barns hope for something other than just survival. Such a powerful sea one look at sea. You're right, Donkey? Should be thankful to somehow yield a positive outcome. When are you going to fix that attitude of yours? Fucking habit of rushing forward without thinking it. My apologies. While Don Quixote returned the night with a bizarre conversation, Almia raised her voice happily as though she had just received good news. What? Dr. Coates, is that true? What's going on? The doctors managed to infiltrate SlayerMathis. They're done cleaning up the decks and are now waiting for the rest of us to arrive. It's already been 10 minutes since the last up came on. That's an excellent strategist, and based on what Dr. Coates told us, I think they already had some plans in motion before we activated the lighthouse. Great. Let's return to Scotty and join them. We returned to the raft and explained what had transpired. Scotty listened to us quietly before replying in the exact same manner she did before. I was going to stay behind. I'll stay. Go find the vessel Mathis. You're going to refuse it again if we offer help, aren't you? Yeah. We'll see after you retrieve the vessel Mathis. We'll let the doctor know what happened here. What an oddball. Thank fucking Lord for Night of Despair Roja. Rhodes Island. I would say the last night is the toughest fight in the DLC in the collab, but it's the doctor, Mr. Drip Rhodes Island. Nice to meet you. When after everything we went through, had finally had the chance to meet the Doctor of Rhodes Island, I realized I'd been building a vastly different image for them in my mind based on the name alone. I was thinking it was going to be someone like Yisung, Faust, or Hohenheim from LCE. We don't know that guy yet. But the first impression of them was similar to what I felt when I met a K-Corp employee. The clock just ticked. And this is Dante, manager at Limbus Company. The ticking just now is nice to meet you. Okay. Hey, thanks for accompanying Amia. Honestly, I was pretty worried when we were separated at the border. I should thank you and Amia, actually. You would have been a real pick without her, so... It's a bit embarrassing to repeat that myself. Dante says we would have been a real pick without Miss Amia. Alright, Manager Bud can't talk human, so don't worry about it. We'll take over the translation. It is incorrect to state that the manager cannot talk human. A more accurate assessment would state that the manager is incapable of assessing sonic means of communication, which include verbal communication. However, they are able to produce repetition of multiple sounds that may register on a similar scale to the ticking of multiple hands, second hands, minute hands, of a clock. I don't know. Something about the way that Merceau put it sounds worse. Don't worry. It's not a difficult task when only a single individual has to be translated. Doctor, let's move down to the next steps of the plan. Next steps? Thanks to Limbus Company's efforts, we obtained the exact coordinates of the vessel Mathis and managed to capture the deck with ease. However, Fabius, who is suspected to be a bishop of the deep, and his followers have barricaded themselves inside the bridge's control room. It may seem as though they're hiding, and I believe they're trying to bait us. So they're waiting for us to enter the bridge before summoning reinforcements from elsewhere to trap us or pincer attack. Something like that. Yes, where it's most likely to see, since the reinforcements are probably more sea terrors. Fabius is a seaborn, and the ocean will answer the call of that kind. Limbus Company and Irene will head to the bridge and neutralize Fabius. Ami and I will accompany you to explore and identify the situation within the bridge. In the meantime, Carlton and the other operators will remain on standby on the ship's exterior at the pre-designated locations. I like to avoid getting surrounded by sea terrors before we manage to take down the Church of the Deep within the bridge. I observed several entry points leading straight to the bridge while we were working on repairing the vessel. The force doesn't seem numerous enough to close off all of them. It's true, there are many entry points here, but we don't need forces guarding every single one of them. Especially here. The hallway is narrow, long, and straight, so... Makes sense to me. How about here? Are you sure you're not overly focusing your forces to a single checkpoint? Let's see. But on a closer look... You're like Commanding Officer Otis finding her environment. Got any questions, Manager Bud? No idea what they're talking about, if I'm being honest. Really? I saw you commanding the sinners earlier. You seem pretty adept at giving orders and making strategic decisions. Indeed. They seem quite adept at making on-the-spot strategic commands and identifying exploitable weaknesses and patterns in their enemies. However, the Doctor and the Outsider are operating in fundamentally different fields. No further elaboration is needed. Agreed. That particular aspect of strategizing is not one of Manager Dante's obligations. And even then, if there is a chance for them to engage in such elements, it may be too early to do so. Is that so? It is. At least this is what Faust has judged. What are they on about? I was about to ask that myself. I don't know. No idea. Having finished our discussion with the Doctor of the plan, Otis returned wearing a grim look. Is there something wrong with the plan? No, there wasn't anything wrong with the plan. There was a certain degree of competency, but they were impressive far beyond my expectations. Really? That good, huh? Even when I think back to my days in the line of duty, I can't think of too many like them. Right, so they're dependable. Good enough for me. Strategize is done, let's get cracking. What of you, Miss Maris? If it's too much to face what awaits, then you need not follow us. I decided to stay here anyway. The doctor's gonna update you in real time where the safe zones are, so please keep that communicator close to you. Oh well, if Gramps, is there something you'd like for us to do? No, nothing. When you want to tell me, contact us through the communicator anytime. We can find a way to resolve this as peacefully as we can, but if the negotiations break down... Yeah, I know what you mean, Doctor. It's safe, everyone. Leaving mirrors behind with her unfinished sentence, we followed the Rhodes Island team to the bridge. The bridge was as gaudily decorated as ever. Fabius, flanked by hooded sea followers and sea terrors, greeted us with a kindly smile. Welcome. I truly did appreciate that kindness, wherefore didst thou seek to harm us? Those suspicions are certainly justified, but I implore you to think back. You surely believe what we had sought to harm you then? How will you explain that one peaceful night you had spent in Far Muerto? We have never wished you any harm. We did not then, we do not now. Not even a day after your folks stabbed us in the back like cowards, and you want us to believe that? Our wish has always been the same. We only wish to extend the freedom to roam the seas to those with capable, kind-hearted souls. Mate, we know you were just trying to turn us into sea monsters of some kind. Monster is only a name. The essence of it being changes not regardless of the label given to it. Become one with the sea, become one with the endless cycle of life, and one day, your misunderstandings will end. You will come to understand us. It's like the fight between us is going to be unavoidable. I pulled out the identity cards the moment I saw Fabius raising his hand. The doctor seemed to finish their preparation as well, as they and Amia stood opposite Fabius. Come on, good day, everyone! So I'm here for good, no matter how long it takes. Strategic formation prioritizes reducing sacrifices to the absolute minimum. Their commands sought to protect, sought to defend, and the forces were quick to follow them. Rhodes Island's operation was certainly impressive, but that's not exactly our style. All I can do is put my faith in the sinners and push them onward. Our style is, trust me to bring you back, no matter how many times they cut you down. Let's wipe them out. Again, like, this is really one of the first times that the absurdity of I've mentioned this before. This is, like, one of the first times the absurdity of, just the way that Limbus Company fights really starts to take effect. But, yeah. I will mostly be speeding through this fight, I think. But there is actually a couple things I want to mention. I did mention before that there's really only one difficult enemy, that being the Basin Sea Reaper, and I still hold to that. The Basin Sea Reapers are the most dangerous, because they just hit pretty hard. The Nether Spear can be pretty difficult because of, what is it? Nether Sea Brand Utopia. Because they have, all these turn into Unbreakables, and will also do a lot of damage. Nether Sea Brand is kind of just boosts more. But eventually, if you destroy the Hand of the Saint, which you can on occasion, that kind of resets things. The Roomba, as they're called. Nether Sea Founders can also be a little bit dangerous because of Propagatory Instinct. They can generate the Nether Sea Brand, so that can be a little bit dangerous as well. Again, I still would mostly say that the Basin Sea Reapers are the only ones you need to actively worry about most of the time, but you still can potentially have issue with the Spewers or the Founders. The big thing with this, with a lot of these, is just remembering to use the Roomba. I do not, but since a lot of their danger really comes in when the Nether Sea Brand is going on, just being able to destroy it, or get rid of the brand, is very nice. Yeah. I should also go over nervous impairment, because that's the big other status that comes with all of the people's stuff. So we'll wait until next turn. I'll go over nervous impairment before we continue on. Reaper is active now. Okay. Nervous impairment doesn't do anything by itself, but eventually you take a lot of damage, and I believe it just constantly ramps up. But yeah, I think that just kind of keeps rising, and I feel like there's some way to get rid of it that I don't remember. I could also just be entirely wrong. That is a possibility. Anyways, as I said, I will speed this fight up. Yeah. We interrupt your regularly scheduled, fucking thing, speed up, that's the word I'm looking for, in order to present you with, finally using, Unbrilliant Glory's fucking stupid thing, yeah. Honestly, we should be fine, but, yeah, wanna actually use Unbrilliant Glory at its... You know, use its power. Use your power. Honestly, first wave is more difficult than the second. Again, the cultists are the easiest form of enemy in this. Easier of the two enemy sets by quite a wide margin. Even with Fabius, like, Fabius really isn't that big of an issue. Like, he's annoying, sure, but... like, not even that, really. Not even that huge of a problem. Really? Where's the sanity at? $15, and you missed 3 of 4. Yeah, I don't think the cultists do anything with the Nether Sea brand, so it doesn't really matter. But also, this fight might call in... okay, it does call in these guys. And I believe this is the fight that every... like, as the fight goes on, it just, like, constantly calls in reinforcements. As in, there's no end to the reinforcements. I could just, like, do that, and then do that. Luckily, we got Thumb Marcel right now, being a badass. Okay. I was a little bit worried about that skill, but nothing too bad. Ooh. That's a bit more damage than I was expecting. But that also might have just been nervous impairment. Popping. Could have been. Down goes the Roomba. Yeah, this is a fight that constantly calls in reinforcements. But they're not tough reinforcements, so who really cares? Do you have it at 40? What do you have it at? 21. I don't know if like the strat for Unbrilliant Glory is to only use it when it's clashable. When you're at 40 man in Scabbard. It doesn't seem like it takes that long to get that much man in Scabbard. But still. It'd be really nice to get the skill 3 in for Heathcliff. And I believe that animation means that Dawn is about to switch modes. Yep. Oh, Fabius is just straight up dead already. Oh. Alright, well. Oh, never mind, he's there. I don't know how he missed him. Let's do that. 100% chance to corrode. What if we just, like, do that? Yeah. Force use the negative coin. I'm kind of shocked that we didn't get double heads on that. That's just always how it goes. Uh-oh. Well, that sucks for all our friends. But hey, at least we killed the one sea dog. That's what really matters. We got him. They're pretty persistent. Fabius flees again using sea terrors and his followers meat shields. No, I see it now. It's not Fabius putting them in harm's way to save himself. Sea terrors and the cultists are throwing themselves in our way, entirely willing to sacrifice their lives to ensure that Fabius gets away. But for all that, the only place left for him to flee on the ship, wounded and cornered by the sinners in Irene's lamplight, was the decks. No one left around Fabius. I understand he can't help but continue to thrash and struggle to live, even though now there's no hope. But a run will only make your pain worse. That's different. Fabi didn't run to live. The voice echoes from under the dark sky. Mares? Mares, appearing quite different from how she did a moment ago. She approaches Fabius slowly, her expression solemn and mournful. She looks down at him wordlessly. I told you that your methods won't win there on the stand, Fabi. What a shame.
I thought with us, with such wisdom and aptitude would.
I hoped you'd still be able to realise your ideal here, even after I left.
It will be realised. Fabius may die here, but we will remain. Now it is time. Devour me.
Fabius blurted out, threw us off once again, even before we regained our footing from the shock of realising Maris' true allegiance. Eat people? Is that proud to see what's a live demonstration of some gourmet art? I hear it's a pretty common thing in the District 23 factories, but I'd rather not see it in person. I think I'm just gonna look away, that's okay, right? Just what? Doctor, weaker seaborns willingly let themselves be devoured by stronger ones, thereby sharing their experiences and nutrients with them. It's commonly accepted practice among them. It's better behavior that prioritizes survival over all else. It isn't done in any sense of sacrifice.
The time is here. Devour me. Set sail towards your ideal.
Sorry, Fabi. I've still got some canned food left for me on the ship. I was delayed become a seaborn for a little while.
Why?
I found a new destination. Get a new power from there, then become a seaborn. So now it's not the time.
If that is your will, Lord Bishop.
Don't worry. Your flesh will fatten the blood kin of the sea. Nurse waves her hand and sea terrors climb up to the vessel from the ship and begin tearing Fabius to pieces. Despite the way it looked, Fabius looked exhilarated. Nary a look of suffering or pain wrinkling his face as they ripped his flesh apart. Was that actually so exhilarated? Did I fucking not know how to spell exhilarated? No, that's... Hold up. I gotta check this. Shit, no, okay. Okay, no, they just spelled it wrong. Gotcha. Yeah, okay, they just spelled it wrong. Good. We turned away from the scene that could not be described as anything else other than cannibalism to look at Maris. Called it. She... Don't need to ask questions when the answer lies plainly before you, Doctor. What is happening? Wolf, did young Maris? It wasn't Fabius. Maris was the Bishop of the Deep. Dun 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 dun. God damn, we are getting so many shards. Can't keep up. We'll pop that. We will fucking just get everything. Why not? I'm not gonna care about these. If I happen to get enough, fucking sick. If not, oh well. Light of the City. They've played us. No despair, still have the upper hand. We defeated Fabius and he's called us already, and even if there were some more sea terrors, we should be able to handle without much trouble. Ire, so what are you thinking the entire time as you deceived us? I had a feeling I knew what she was going to say to that. She's either going to say that it was for our sake, that it wasn't deception at all. Or maybe she'll give us one final gloating. But her reply, the words of which were carefully selected after gazing out at the far ocean, was not what any of us could have expected. I'm sorry. Unless it would be a better way to approach you. But I see can come across as nothing more than deception. Sorry? Why? Don't you want to know why you're sorry? Well, that's because I did something wrong. Wait, hold on. You've been deceiving us all along, Maris, and now you're gonna... Oi, what exactly are you after? Not the same thing that gaze was, ain't that right? Turns into your bloodkins, that was all for our sake, giving all kinds of ridiculous excuses to turn us into one of those monsters. I do hope you'll one day all accept becoming Seaborn. But I'm not about to demand that you let yourself be transformed today, right here and now. Now you understand we all need some time to mentally prepare ourselves. You may understand your statement to be implying that you will not be forcing us upon us should we refuse. That's correct. It'd be against manners to do what Fabius did, shoving sea terror cells inside your body out of nowhere. Manners, huh? I was taken aback by the fact that Maris was the Bishop of the Deep. It was also true that Maris had never tried to bring us any harm, like Fabius who attacked the sinners directly. Well, she did almost get us in big trouble with Irene while explaining things to us. It's also true that Maris has been extremely helpful so far. It was her who led us to the lighthouse, and it was her who stayed in that crumbling lighthouse until the repairs were done as that terrifying night continued to assail its walls. What was her actual relationship to Fabius anyway? Just someone who was at most once strove to realise the visions of our ideal worlds? Gods once could have urged, but not now. I was pretty taken aback too, when they attacked you back at the village. Maybe got greedy, and when he saw Faust and was preparing the ship. Got greedy? Fabius believed that welcoming capable people as bloodkin would expedite the Seaborn's revelation. Cool. So you're like some cult leader, but you don't necessarily want to antagonize us. So haven't told us what you're after, though. I'm going to the city that lies beyond that dimensional door. So you're trying to flee to a different world, but the Inquisition won't be able to chase you. This isn't running away. I just want to help the people of the city, that's all. Bring the Seaborns with me to the city. Don't tell me you're going to invade the city alongside this monster stuff. And the foghorn suddenly blared and the ship shook as it began to move. As the monster began to move, so I made a sailing program. And as the monster now sailed toward the dimensional door, I let Rose Island and Irene go right in front of the door, so don't worry. You seriously tell us not to worry? Faust, please calm yourself, Dante. It's not yet been determined if that is indeed the dimensional door connecting directly back to the city. It has to be. The warm, shining light, and the voice from within, is getting clearer and clearer. Why don't we just let them into the city? The battles thus far have gone well enough to demonstrate the level of danger Seaborn pose. We don't get very far, even if they were to enter the city, don't you agree? On you on, we've all seen what happens when city... fucking... Okay, I decided to skip 2 lines for spoiler reasons. Maybe it didn't need to for this one, but I want to be extra safe. Thoughts, Faust? Urban Nightmare. After considering the specific attributes, it will not take long for them to rise to the start of the city level threat. There is a reasonable possibility that they may be issued the Imperitas Civitatis classification. It's not an acceptable risk. Not the head, they should be manageable by a wing. This isn't that terrible of a calamity. But Cultsit shook her head resolutely. No. Your technology seems to be based on something else, which is neither Originium arts nor any of its derived technology. That's precisely what could make your world vulnerable against Seaborn. Because they learn fast? Yes. Those are the front lines of the war against Seaborn suddenly stick to using traditional low-tech weapons. Blowing high-technology weapons against them is only going to make you an enticing meal. Don't just let one of our unfortunate wings ends up fighting these. You take into account that there may be a significant amount of time to earn their trust. If they were to be convinced, there would be other parties with alternative perspectives on the matter, complicating issues. The situation will grow rapidly out of control if Baxter syndicates or fixers get involved. This Hag designates a taboo to prevent it. Even then, considering what she's been saying, yes, we must all consider the possibility that they may be capable of absorbing the head's technology as well, before they are expelled from the city. How do you plan on helping the people of the city bears? Giving them a chance to become Seaborn? What are you on about? Become Seaborns? Ginola there, eh? What kind of help is that, eh? Mares, you know it's no different from what the Church of the Deep is doing here. No, it is different. Someone showered the city with the light. The light? The beam of light from the White Knights and Darte's incidents. How could it be? Become a Seaborn. It's part of a great well called We Many. By doing so, we can be reborn as an altruistic life form. Because of ego. A sense of self? So what's been my issue with it? Everyone has beliefs of their own. Dreams of their own. If it was to them to lose all that, and they never lose that sense of self as they become Seaborn. Look, I want each Seaborn to have their own wishes, but the light shining through the dimensional door to our world is too faint to push them toward that evolution. But the light of the city can become more tangible. Might just be able to give every Seaborn an identity of their own, to men uniquely themselves. Then why is it that you would advocate toward those of the city to join the Seaborns? One can simply learn more of the light before returning here. At first, I thought all I needed was the clue to a better evolution. Don Quixote's tales of adventures changed my mind. Mine adventures? You don't understand just how precarious you all are. And how would you, when you were born to that kind of world from the very start? I feel like it's supposed to be precocious. A place where life has become a commodity, and gold one of its religions. The city has abundance yesterday to survive today. By doing so, it's given abundance tomorrows. He just saw he needed the light, so he needs Seaborns. He needs a tenacious soul to life, and their absolute unconditional selflessness. At the end of the day, it means that everyone has to turn to monsters. People ostracize the other. Something that isn't like me. Something feels alien to me. Something I don't know or understand. That feels natural. Seaborns are not human. But you just have to cross the threshold once. Miss Maris, do you believe the nature of humanity to be evil? Humans are selfish, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Good things can come from selfishness, that's for sure. But the side effects may have become simply unsustainable. Doctor, you've been to countless battlefields where Rhodes Islands fought tooth and nail for rats of the infected, but what came of it? Peace? No. It's the same. Still, we're all getting better, little by little. I'm not trying to dry those small incremental steps and call them meaningless. Change takes time. Should it continue, I believe your efforts can be a beacon of light that will lead humanity toward a brighter future. What about everyone who's sacrificed while you're taking your time? Taking those incremental steps. Every single day of that incremental change is marred by only just deaths. Someone enslaved by no other reason more than their differences. People live on that despair that seems to have no end. I agree with what the light told me. People are diseased, so sick that even in the far-flung future, even on the day when the world ends, will continue to fail to look forward, obsessed with scrutinising each other in their search of those differences. Even when every eye here returns to see, they're going to bully and hate anyone with pointed ears, leaving them my ear. Even when empathy is surely eradicated, they're still going to suspect and persecute someone who is the infected. People are imperfect beings. You're right. Probably isn't anyone out there who can really sacrifice themselves for the sake of others with nothing but perfect selflessness. When it comes to Seaborn, they don't suffer for almost absurdity. They coerce and sacrifice against their will. Not the power to progress toward a better future, but for mutual understanding. It's the kind of life form that seeks the common ground instead of scrutinising the differences. The bells. A strange shape formed, shimmers, and materialized before my eyes. I couldn't tell quite what it was, but it was round and looked like a tool. It's possible she has already met the conditions of Fluoresce. A possible explanation would be the absence of a particular pull required to draw it out of her, or the insufficiency of it. Is this anything like the arts? What's happening in front of Miss Mayers? The proximity to the dimensional door increasing the potency of influence coming over from the city? Precisely. The tension to fast returning to normal levels seems to indicate that. People in other worlds, Mayers, also manifest ego? Internal conflict and anguish is a commonality among every intelligent entity, regardless of whether they're from the city or not. Therefore, yes, Faust is quite positive on this possibility as well. However, what does that mean? The potential to reference an ego implies the potential to distort as well. You've been dreaming for a long time, Mayers, drawing your own picture of an idealized world. And you've chosen the ocean as the means to build a path toward that vision. Yet, why have you failed to take the leap of faith yourself? I had to make preparations. Seaborns are beautiful, there's no doubt about that. It's just that a key piece was missing to really achieve what I want. You're not being honest with yourself. I know it very well that you were afraid of becoming one of them. The fear that your own greed might crumble, that you might lose your own sense of self, your ego. The fear that it might end up becoming nothing more than just another thing swept up by the ineffably overwhelming will. Isn't it terrifying that this all can just disappear in a blink? Who's she talking to? Someone this company has experience with? Yeah, so I appreciate an explanation. You say on that voice. Well, that's the only fate that one has absolute confidence in breaks in one fell swoop and their ironclad will is shattered. People of the city have the potential to distort into a monstrous form at any time. It is said that these phenomena are often accompanied by the distorting individual hearing a disembodied voice. Indeed, those who distort would often behave as though they were engaged in conversation. Of course, the same could be said for those who awake an ego. At first I thought it was Kathy, but wasn't it? Her voice was beautiful, confident, and even cozy, and a voice that pulls all the contemplation to sleep. So calm, so warm. No. There's more to the sunshine than its warmth. The sunshine. You don't share your interest with the other devotees. Survival isn't what you care about. What you really care about is giving everyone a chance to experience what it feels to live in a world of warmth, ephemeral as it may be. But it has to be about more than just prolonging our existences. What really matters isn't survival. Don't leave behind for posterity a legacy. As long as the guarantee that the light can indeed protect the sense of self, it'll be more than enough to convince people to become seaborns. Please, you don't have to concern yourself with what other people might think, Maris. But everyone has their own wishes. I can't just bulldoze over theirs to force mine upon them. But that's not what you really believe, is it? You know that better than anyone. While you hesitate, countless people who are bound to the inescapable bridle will continue to suffer. That might be true, but it's okay. You don't have to hide the shape of your heart, its colors. The only thing you have to concern yourself with is how you can lead the people of the city, and then Terra. You can't just sit here and let this happen. Other operators' positions. I present able to approach, surrounded by a strange field doctor. Or if someone would distort due to reasons other than the monolith, a strange pressure would prevent our approach, as though to stop us from interfering. That applies here too, all the way over in another world. Love is our collective destination, after all. So please, let go of this tool that might break your heart. Don't force yourself to walk the path of thorns. Your pilgrimage needn't be that of suffering. You don't believe in any recourse, do you? Other than this, anyway. Don't you think we should find a better, faster path with less suffering? Before more people inevitably hurt each other with their ill intent? You're right. there's no recourse, has to happen faster. I can't waste any more time while people suffer. Follow your wishes. Follow your desires. And paint. Show them how the painting of your world reflects in your eyes. The only compassion they believe in becomes completely worthless. I understand the shape of your heart. It makes you want to enter the city. But we still know so little about the Seaborns, about Terra, about Iberia. However may have lit the fire under your feet, I can't bring you with us to the city as you are now. Even before the sinners had a chance to translate my words, Mary slowly turned in my direction as if she clearly understood my words. But I must, Dante. Your adventures were full of exhilarating tales. I saw kindness in the every word and action of you and your friends, but it's not enough. You don't think they'll change? No, they will. In the far, far future. An incandescent brilliance burst forth from before Mare's. Past that light, I saw the ocean. The calm sound of gently lapping, crashing waves, the immense golden brilliance. A portal. Where'd it come from? The Dungeon of the Fathoms. And gate that leads into one's heart. This periphery is where our Peace Department specialty begins. While what lies beyond this periphery does not necessarily warrant Rhodes Hive's presence. Can you guys help? I don't know what kind of fathoms I'm walking into, but I have a feeling that we're going to need your assistance. Dr. Coltsit? I'm here to investigate the dimensional door, but I don't want us to turn our backs on people we can help. Rhodes Island accepts Limbus Company's cooperation request. I'll go too. Still in Iberia, can't let Iberian business be handled solely by outsiders, let alone an incident connected to the Church of the Deep. Don't worry, it's not like this is the first time we're letting someone not in a group into the Dungeon of the Fathoms. We'll be fine. Our sea terrors. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that the sea terrors that were swarming the lighthouse are coming this way as well. I'll go out of here. You're staying behind then? Now we'll go with you, Doctor. Following Maris, who had already disappeared into the portal, we take our steps into the utopian world beyond. Maris is such a good antagonist. And there's so much lore stuff that I will get into all of that next time, as we're working our way through the dungeon. But until then, see you guys later.